Shit, what movie am I talking about again? Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and this is my 31 days of horror movie reviews. And I just got back from the theaters because I realized this is still in theaters. I wasn't really interested in watching it, to be honest, like as far as my own personal curiosity, but I said, fuck it, I'm adding 31 movies. So let's have this take the slot. I'm talking about The Strangers Chapter 2. Even though it's technically the fourth Strangers movie, sure, let's just call this one Chapter 2. It's a 2025 film that was directed by Renny Harlin. I forgot that Renny Harlin directed Chapter 1. I know I saw Chapter 1. I know I reviewed Chapter 1, so I definitely looked this up and saw this info already. But to reread this, I was like, God damn, that's what Renny Harlin is doing. If you guys don't remember Renny Harlin as a director, he's directed movies like Die Hard 2, Long Kiss Goodnight, Deep Blue Sea, a lot of movies that I grew up on, so I remember seeing his name quite a lot as a kid. And look, I'm glad that he's still getting work. I'm glad that he is in charge of a franchise, I guess. But this isn't the type of quality that I think he's capable of. So I'm still trying to figure this out. Is this a reboot? Like straight up reboot, remake? Or are these prequels to the original Strangers movie from like, when was it? 2008, 2009? Because that one was actually pretty creepy and good. I saw that in theaters and I remember going like, man, this is so simple yet effective as far as creeping me out. And ever since then, they've been trying to do sequels, or in this case, reboot, prequels, spin-offs, requels. And for some reason, it's not working. At least for me, and for my money, my opinion, I was in a theater that had 2 other people. That was it. It was completely empty. And I know this movie's been out for like a week, but goddamn! Unless theaters are just getting that bad to where if you don't see the movie the first weekend, nobody gives a shit after that. So I barely remember Chapter 1. Like I said, I saw it. I know I've seen it. And they try to give you some flashbacks or some reminders because I think even they know that people aren't going to go back and rewatch it, or maybe they're confused on, is this Chapter 1 to the old movie? Or, okay, fine, sure. So we have Maya, the remaining surviving character. She's basically, this entire movie is just her trying to survive the entire night from the 3 killers that were trying to kill her in the last movie. They successfully killed her fiance in the last movie. She's alive, so they're going after her. And there's a part of me, like on paper, there's a part of me that wants to say I liked what this movie did. There's a part of me that wants to say I appreciate that this movie picks up right where the last movie ended. It's a direct, I love when sequels are like, okay, this is immediately following. No time has passed. It's just we're right back into it. The same night, the same whatever. And also, this movie did something that I personally love past horror movies that have done this, where our surviving character is in the hospital and then the killer goes to the hospital to kill her. It reminds me of Michael Myers, what he did in Halloween 2 when he went after Jamie Lee Curtis. Even Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, where the killer, Michael Myers, went after that Laurie Strode, although that was a dream sequence, right? Either way, I was like, okay, let me try to get into this. Let me try to vibe with this. And there's some decent camera work. Renny Harlin knows what the fuck he's doing. He's an experienced director. This isn't an amateur here. So there is good camera work of like following the main girl as she's going through the halls. She's just looking around, and then the lights go off, and then the killer's looking for her, and she's hiding. And like, so they try to make it interesting. But my issue is that it goes on for so long. This just turns into hide and seek the movie. If they haven't already made a hide and seek movie with that title, that's what this should have been called. Because, man, This girl is going around this hospital. There's only like, I guess, one other person that worked there and they got killed. So there's a completely empty hospital. She's running away from the killers. She winds up like in the basement and they're chasing her down there and she's hiding down there. And then she's in the woods and she's hiding in the woods all this time. And you see the killers looking for her. I'm like, we're fucking doing this again. And then there's another point where she winds up at like a barn with horses and she's hiding in there and the pinup doll killer is looking for her. I'm like, fucking hell, man, how many times are we gonna fucking do this? I will say the actress that plays Maya, Madeline Pesh, however you pronounce her last name, she was not bad. Look, there's not a lot of dialogue because it is just her hiding for like an hour and a half from the killers, so it's not like she has to talk a lot. But I will say that she does a good job of like being scared the entire time, trying to survive. There's one sequence where she runs into a couple of people driving by and she doesn't trust them. And you know what? I do like the fact that because we don't supposedly know the people under the mask, when she runs into people like in this car, she's immediately suspicious of them. Even something as simple as them locking the car door, she freaks out because she thinks, oh, it could be them. And then there's other characters that she's like, I don't trust them. She's even like picturing them with the mask on, even though it's not really there. But she's all fucked up, basically. From this, there's a lot of scenes of her having to run around in her hospital gown with like no shoes on because it's like, and it's raining. I'm like, fucking hell, man, they put this girl through a lot. So I will give that actress credit for that. Also, when you talk about the killers, I am surprised over how boring, lame, and uninteresting these killers are. And I'm not saying they have to like do a lot with them. They don't have to talk. They don't have to be animated and over the top, because you could look at Jason, look at Michael Myers. We love them just because they're stoic and they have presence and they're scary just in their demeanor. But this is just generic. There's nothing special interesting. Even the mask, the burlap sack mask. I know Jason in part 2 had that, but like this didn't look as cool. It didn't look cool. Didn't seem all that scary. They seemed more incompetent with how easily she was able to get away from them. And the other girls with the pinup thing, okay. So this movie tries to make them interesting by, let's show a bunch of flashbacks. Let's show the killers' backstory, their origins of them as kids, and let's see how one of the girls, who's now a pinup doll killer, she was all fucked up and disturbed and she got bullied and so she became crazy. And it's like, maybe all of that backstory could work in a different movie about a different killer to where that's the main focus, but to just shove that in here in random splices and random increments, it doesn't do much, at least for me. It just felt like it was all here to stretch this movie out, to stretch it to get that hour and a half mark. There is so much of this movie that feels padded out and feels like it's stretched. I honestly feel like between the two movies that we've gotten now from Renny Harlin, that could have been one film. In fact, they plan on doing Chapter 3. This ends on the lamest fucking cliffhanger I think I've ever seen. They want to go to a third film. This is supposed to be a trilogy. You could, I guarantee, by the time the third one comes out, this could have all been one hour and a half movie. This is so stretched out and long and boring for no goddamn reason. It's boring. It's a waste of time. Like I said, it's competent in the directing. It's competent in some of that stuff. Like, it's not like it's horrible in the technical aspects of it. I just don't think that the story's there. I don't think that there's enough interesting characters. The main character, you don't connect to her other than she's just a survivor. There's nothing else there. There's no other characters really for her to interact with. The movie stops for the Maya character to basically have a big old struggling fight, kind of like the Revenant style with DiCaprio and the bear. She has a fight with a boar. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? What did this movie turn into? Does the boar wear a killer mask and it's a part of the team? Who knows? Watch the movie for yourself to find out. But man, I was severely bored. I can't even say disappointed because chapter 1 wasn't even all that good. Chapter 1 wasn't any better. It's just kind of the same level of quality. I would have to think that this isn't making money. I would have to think that Lionsgate, which I didn't even know they were still around, Lionsgate must be losing so much money by putting these films out. And I wonder why they didn't just put it on streaming, why they didn't just sell these movies to a Netflix or to an HBO and Amazon Prime, because it probably would have done better. More people probably would have seen it that way. This is not something you need to go to the theaters for. If it was on a streaming thing, I probably would be nicer and would give a nicer rating for it. But as it stands now, putting this in theaters and expecting people to spend money or spend their time to go to a theater to see this is some old bullshit.
Man, this some old bullshit.
So guys, let me know in the comments below if you even knew that The Strangers Chapter 2 came out, if you knew this movie existed, because I think that's a better question than daring to ask if you've seen it. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.
Swimming in beers, I've been through it all, let me trickle a tear. In case you didn't know, I was living sarcastic. A motherfucking monster, something Jurassic. Had to wrap the whole entire bed in plastic. Smoking bitch dance when she fucking with raptors. Killing and adrenaline, I'm sipping on the 4-0. Listen by a whole entire motherfucking torso. Oh, what a rush, sniffing some more blow. Let the bitch bleed and I'm making a porno. I'ma keep it going a few times before I pass out. Wake up in the morning, realize I blacked out.